Hey everybody, it's Colin again. I said I was going to do some work to my gantry in my next stage and my next video, but I haven't. I decided I wanted to alter this track on the clockwise, which I'll explain in a little while. So apologies for a little bit of a fib, just a bit of a change of plan. Alright. Okay, well, we're having a little bit of a change on this little piece of track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move these 2 points this way, maybe by only a length. It's so I can bring this track here, that track, closer to this one, so it can cut this corner off to get round here. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in, when this train has gone past, I'm going to put in another Electrofrog crossing here somewhere. I haven't decided where, and the reason for this is, so I'm going to bring, when I bring out anything from this line, like an engine, I can bring it out while trains are running across, going that way and that way, anti-clockwise and clockwise, the way that train's going. Now I have got plans to go from here round here to somewhere round here to a point where it joins onto this double slip, and then a point which will go out there and join onto this track. So if I wanted, I'd be able to take an engine out of the TMD yard and out, and then back along here, back along this, across again, all the way around onto this track, and then on the up and over I'll be able to take it all the way around there, under the town scene, back out, round here, back down, and in to the goods yard here if I wanted to go that way. Or there is a double slip there. There is a double slip there, and that's going to go to a dead end terminus for this station. So I'll be able to drive a DMU or an engine into here to pick up some coaches, or a steam engine into this. So there's many different things I can do for doing this bit round here, but the main point is just to give this area a bit more space. It's not going to be much, but it will help and make a difference. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm having a change from my control panel which I'm very happy with, and as you've seen. So for now, I'm just going to have a bit of a change, a little bit of wiring alterations, and I may, while I'm at it, put my servos in here. There is one reason for that, having this amount of gap, is to get my servo in. It's going to make it a bit more tricky, but we'll see. I'll come up with a plan. So that's what I'm going to be up to. So I'll show you the next stage in a little while. Right, as I mentioned earlier, I am in the process of just altering a small area, and I'm putting in my third Electrofrog small crossing. Now, already attached to different parts of the rail are these 4 wires. Now, because of how my track is on this particular bit, that is going to be my black wire. This is going to be my white wire. Now I'm just telling you in the colours I'm using. I'm not going to say which one's positive and negative. So that's my black and that's my white. So what I've got to do is attach a black wire to this, which will go to my bus route, my black one, and this one being a white wire, which will also go directly to the bus route. And it can also mean, because that will always be live, it will always be white. Now the frog wire, which is that one and this one, has to be both black and white. So if I indicate with that, that's a train, that's black, that's white. Going across, that's white, and that'll have to be black. But if I change it, not forgetting that that's white, the one I'm pointing to, and my train goes over there, all of that has to become white. So what I use are the Gauge Master Autofrogs. So the moment my train touches that, that will change the frog, like on my points. Those outer lines can all have metal rail joiners, because the track going off on those two are going to be black, so they can be powered. I mean, if I put metal on, I don't even have to connect that to a bus route, but I like to have what power to most every piece of my track. Certainly most of them. Sometimes I solder the track together so I don't have to do every piece. But, and this one will be white and always white on this side. So they can have metal rail joiners. But those, they're going to have plastic rail joiners. So they're insulated because they're going to change. That wire feeds that and those two little bits there. And that wire feeds that piece of track and those two little pieces. That piece in the middle is not powered at all in any format, because the wheels, if they touch it, it won't affect anything. Because if that is white and it touches that, the wheels, all of that comes white, but it doesn't go onto the other side. And the same if that the wheels touch that, it becomes black. But it doesn't have to be powered because the track is running on those. It doesn't actually sit, the wheels don't sit on those two pieces. So when you turn this over, you'll see that those two wires, as I was just showing you, this is going to be my black because it's actually over there, and that's my white. It's soldered to the track there, which is that piece, and then across to those two little bits, and so with that. So that is going to be my black to there, white to that one, and that's going to be connected to the Electrofrog, so it changes when my train goes on. It took a bit of working out to start with. On the other two crossings I've got near this one, actually this is my fourth one, they're insulated on every piece of track. Don't make contact with any of these. And I'll try and explain it to you why. And I'll just take the camera over there to explain it. So just hold on. This is the new one I've put in. Now, that track there is white, white, white. That track is black, 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 black. So that's why they've got metal joiners. The middles, as I've said, are insulated because that has to change. Right, so this is how I'm going to try and explain this to you. This is the new one I've put in. This is the new one I've put in. Now, so this has to change from white to black, and so the other side. Now these are slightly different. As I've said, they're insulated all the way around. Don't have to be, but if you remember those wires what stuck out, the middle two did this one and that, and the outer two wires did the frogs. Now the frogs on this is the same on both, so they can actually be metal rail joiners, because this is white going down here, and then going off this way it is also white, because they're going in a different direction. If you can imagine, the track power is going in the direction of my track. So this track is going clockwise. So the power is going from left to right. And the inside track, this one, is anti-clockwise. So this power is going from right to left. Now, this has worked out because of my return loops. If you can imagine that this track does a loop round here and joins onto the back of that, you can see it's changed direction. And it's because I've got two return loops. That one, that's going from left to right, clockwise, because it ends up coming down there and ends up going anti-clockwise. And the anti-clockwise return loop is under the town scene, which goes round there, comes out there, returns down here, and you can see already it's going clockwise because it's going to go out across there, and before it went to a point here, that point was there, but I'm putting this crossing in, and the way then it'll get on to the clockwise, it comes to here, and it can either go through the straight through line of the station or the station platform, or it can go up the return loop. But also there's going to be another line there to the return loop. There is one more reason I've done this, is because I will be able to have 3 tracks on tail chasers. 2 of them can be continuous, just going and going. That's the clockwise and the anti-clockwise. But this one here, which I'm going to use both return loops, I will have to control because of them crossing over the 2 main lines. Now, I can always get some point systems, signals to control it, that when there's trains on these, this will be on a stop, and if this train is going across them, there could be a signal there to stop it, or a signal here or further back. So it could work out that I could have it automated, and how it's going to do this, because when it goes across there, round onto this point, which is going to take you across here, it misses the clockwise, it goes up and over, all the way around, under the town scene, back down here. This is the reason why I put this piece of tracking, because it bypasses the clockwise. If anything's running up here to go through the station platform, it bypasses it, will go through here, which is the goods area, but it could drive through it, through there, under the paperwork, round here, round there. The chimney hasn't fallen over, it's from the power station. It would then go onto that line, and basically it would come out here, round and stay on this line while the anti-clockwise is going that way around and the clockwise is going there. So I can have 3 tail chasers now. And that was another reason for putting that crossing in there. Right then, so I've done the clockwise, which 68 is just demonstrating. That curve point is new and it's cutting right across that corner and then over the new crossing, and that piece of track is all new, and it is also ready for a detector to be put on the outside piece on the black wire, because it's insulated there and it's insulated there. So when I get some, that can be tapped in. This piece of track is new. Well, actually it was the piece what was there going through that. It was going through that. So I've moved it in so it's all one piece, and again I've got this ready because there's insulation there, and even though I didn't need it, I have put an insulated joiner there because that piece of track is powered anyway on its own. So that's ready for a detector. I won't be detecting the crossing, that'll just happen. And show you it works. When the 68 has gone past, the 37 will go over it. So that's going over now, and that would be going towards the engine yard in the TMD area, which it has to go past. So that's the outside track done. What I have to do now is do the line from there through that and connect it to that. You can see roughly how much it's gained. In the olden days, or when I first started, I started using a adhesive mastic. Spread that out, stuck track down, and it worked. It also allows me to tick it up, but what it does do is leave the texture on, which will get covered by grass or whatever. The other thing I have done, I've moved these 2 pieces of track outwards. So they come through the tunnel under the road and then they bend out. Now I have to leave a gap for my servos to go in, but this one, what I'm going to do is run it underneath this piece of track and connect it to the point and have the servo here. There's plenty of room for the servo on this side, and the other thing I've done is put a bend on these 2 pieces of track. That piece of track there, to get onto the scissor so it's going straighter as it enters the scissor point, it got a bit too close here. If you look on my previous videos, you'll see it, and it did annoy me. So I've put a bend on there and a swoop on here. I didn't have to alter none of this. Quite happy with that. So I've gained for that piece of track from there to there. It's not a lot, but it will help. I've also looked at, I've got some back scenes on a previous video. I think I showed them. I'm getting some ply for doing my back scenes, so that's in hand, so I can sort this area out. The only thing I am going to do is I decided to alter this for two reasons. The first main reason, I wanted to do that piece of track from there round to that crossing in one. So I had to cut the corner. You can see where it was before, and it came onto the run through track of the inside line. So I'm going to change that point, and this left hand point, if I want to use it, I can put here, which will connect to that. But I haven't decided yet. I may get a shorter medium left to do that. So that's what I'm up to now. I may put this video up and then put a bit more up on the next stage when I do the inner, and I'll show you what I do with the Electrofrogs. Another reason for doing this area is because when I come to do my panel up in this corner, I needed that bit sorted, because once I drill my holes, that'll be it. I can't move it, and I don't want any faults on this. I want it to be as perfect as I can make it. So that's another reason for doing this now before my gantry. And I like messing about with my track and wiring and cutting wires, joining on, and I'm quite pleased. I think it's going to be a lot better. It certainly will be better getting an engine out and round. And when I do the next stage, which will be from that point through that, wherever that goes, I haven't decided yet, onto that, and from the point connect it round here with a point on, you'll see what I'm getting at. And I'll also have altered these two, well, one bit of track's not there, but that left will go to right and so on. So that's my alteration done to the outside, clockwise, in this corner just above the picture what we're looking at now. So, well, that's been quite interesting for you. Any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.